Okay, what techniques help the business to refine and confirm their requirements? The requirements are a big thing. So, Noels, why don't you start with this one?
Uh, Excellent question. Assuming you have your subject matter expert involved, right? That really short circuits the requirements gathering process, right? So
Yeah.
kind of build on each other. Uh, Rapid prototyping is not just a legitimate way of discovering how the data works, but it's also an excellent way to flush out the requirements or make sure that the requirements complete, because you've got functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and you've got elements that all need to be brought together. In other words, functional requirements, I want to be able to drill from here to there, from this thing to that thing. Non-functional requirements, I need to have this within 5 seconds. All of these elements need to be out there. And so, does it behave? Does it give me the answers I'm after? Uh, does my business rules, and particularly, this is a valuable way to look at it, uh, to verify a business rule, build a prototype, verify the prototype, verify the conditions of your business rules are complete, both negative and positive testing. And so requirements are not complete until you have the test requirements also captured. So good old test-driven development kind of disciplines are excellent in verifying your requirements.
Yeah, excellent. Michael, I'm sure you've got stuff to add here.
Yeah, two comments. So I would say there's two major scenarios. Either the client knows what they want. So the business side knows what they want essentially. So they can express an information requirement, just like in software requirements, or software development, you have software requirements. We typically have these information requirements where we essentially, where the business describes the dashboard, the report, what they want, all the details that are important for them, test cases and so on, data sources, KPIs, everything's documented. There's a template on our website that you can check out how we typically organize these information requirements. That's option number one. We, as a database team, we might need to help them to express what they want. So in many cases, our clients haven't done it before. So a lot of users, they never express a software requirement either. So we help them to get this on paper, essentially, in the right quality, in the format the developers need this, essentially. That's option number one. Option number two is if they know roughly at least what they want, some report on revenues by sales region or something, but they don't know about the data quality, they don't know what data is available, maybe even where the data comes from and so on, right? Maybe they don't even exactly know how the report should look like because they haven't seen the data yet. There's a concept called agile requirements gathering in the training, where we essentially produce a raw mart, an information mart without the application of any business rule, to create a raw report. So the raw mart is essentially in the same format, let's say dimensional model, but no business rules applied. Then we create a report on top of that. The report just presents the data from the source system in the form the user understands. It's in the typical format, a report, essentially. But it only contains raw data, no business rules applied. So it prints out on a little larger paper, DIN A3 or something, in black and white, give it to the users, and ask them give them a red pencil with it, and then ask them what's wrong with this report, because there must be something wrong. I don't believe that they will report on raw data, right? So take the red pencil and correct the report. Once they're done with that, once they made their comments, their annotations, strike through something, everything in black is raw data, everything in red is business rules. And then we go back, implement the business rules, and do it again. So give it a new version of the report. What's still wrong? We get more in red ink. That's the basic idea. That helps them to express the ideas if they don't really know the data.
Yeah, I
That's
love that. That's great, and it really helps you understand where the business rules are going to be applied. So, um, there's also different use cases, right? So it's not always a report that we're building. I'm imagining a very soon a future where we're getting a requirement from a large language model saying, "Give me this data," And so, does the way we define the requirements change based on the use case? I mean, obviously, data science type activities are going to be different to providing a dimensional model for a report. Am I right or am I wrong? Noels, why don't you help?
Absolutely. So the different use cases have a slightly different way to approach it. Data science, however, predicates it on a process where you first start with the hypothesis and then you gather some data. Then you start to train and tune your model, find whatever seems to be relevant or predictive in some form. So the data scientist is typically well versed in this iterative refining of the requirements and so on. So that's not necessarily as new a process as such. So there it's more about providing the appropriate width of data to your data scientists so that they get the appropriate
Okay.
components. So that is different to a general BI analytics requirement where, as Michael outlined, they may have an idea what they're after, but not necessarily completely complete in the full sense of the requirement, right down to the color scheme of the backgrounds, etc. Now,
Yeah.
you always know that you're on a good path when everyone looks at the data and then they start quibbling about the colors. Then you know you're in a good place. It means that the data has passed the smell test. It's basically somewhat within the expectation, and then it's just a preference. It's just arm wrestle about the color scheme. If you get to that
When the
point,
graphic
you're in a good
designer.
place. You got the
Yeah.
business rules nailed. You got the data in the right quality expectations, and so once that is done,
Yeah.
then yeah, that's a good sign.